Welcome, and thanks for joining us here today at Evolutionary Arts Hackney, Earth. This stage is home to the first high-performance venue in the world with an ELISA immersive hyperreal sound system. It's a space for change, a space for progress, and a space for transformation. The goal of Earth, the goal of ELISA, is to elevate the experience of the audience, to let sound designers, artists, creators, and engineers connect like never before. The team at L-Acoustics have worked hard to develop solutions that enable creativity outside of the live performance. With as little as a pair of headphones, ELISA Studio enables everyone to create immersive content anywhere. Over the past 5 years, the ELISA processor has enabled tens of thousands of live performances around the world. The next step is to remove the limits of scale, enabling the largest events to the smallest ones. What we need is a license to scale. Today, we're excited to introduce the ELISA Processor 2. To tell you more about the power of the ELISA Processor 2, let me introduce Guillaume Lenost, Executive Director of Creative Technologies.
Thanks, Scott. The ELISA Processor 2 brings an unparalleled level of processing power to an immersive audio processor. The ELISA Processor 2 is capable of simultaneously processing 128 inputs, 96 of which can be dynamically rendered as objects from a live mixing console or digital audio workstation, with the remaining 32 used for additional audio routings. The processor has the power to render all 128 inputs to an ELISA system with as many as 128 outputs. No matter how many outputs are used or how many inputs are active, the ELISA Processor 2 can render all 128 inputs into all the outputs at the industry standard 96 kHz audio sample rate. That's more than 4 times the output capability compared to the previous ELISA processor. The processing power of the ELISA Processor 2 is not limited to spatial rendering for the main ELISA system. Any of the 128 outputs can be used as a spatial fill for those hard-to-reach areas in a venue, or as a downmix, like stereo or LCR, and simultaneously as a spatial binaural mix for monitoring, broadcast, or recording. With the power of the ELISA Processor 2, inputs can have a dynamic delay to correctly align the natural signal to the amplified one. Every object can interact independently with the most flexible room engine on the market, letting you transform any space from small to large, dry to wet, dark to bright by using one of the 36 presets, or customize it for your exact needs with time, EQ, and space parameters, ensuring a natural sounding space for every listener. The ELISA Processor 2 brings tremendous processing power, but what about its reliability? The ELISA Processor 2's chassis has been designed for the challenges of modern touring act and to integrate easily for any installed project. The robust 3U design comes equipped with front and back rail supports and a dual universal power supply with locking IC connectors. Also, the ELISA Processor 2 ships with a backup boot device to cover any emergency need. And as always, the ELISA Processor 2 is designed to work in parallel with a redundant processor to guarantee the show can go on for the most critical productions. The ELISA Processor 2 comes equipped with industry-standard MADI ports for connecting from a console or digital audio workstation. MADI, however, is not the ideal solution for connecting to the amplified controllers that power an ELISA system. So, every ELISA Processor 2 is now equipped with the easiest, most reliable, and future-proof network protocol for professional media. Milan AVB dual Ethercon connections support redundant Milan streams for both inputs and outputs from the ELISA Processor 2. It's now possible to use MADI inputs and AVB outputs to remove the need for any additional converters. Aside from the processor's reliability, we thought about some important other aspects. Let me bring Germain Simon on stage to talk about how the ELISA Processor 2 can benefit every show.
Thank you, Guillaume. The ELISA Processor 2 is all about power and reliability indeed. And it's also about scalability. We know that not every project will need all of the 128 outputs. Most might only need 15, 30, or maybe 45 outputs. That's why with the ELISA Processor 2, we are introducing a licensing model to scale a solution for every project. Like a small music club with a few fills and a couple of down mixes, or a local theater with a synth system and simple surround package. These projects might only need 10 or 15 outputs. And so the ELISA Processor 2 integrates the first license by default and ships with 16 output activated, scaling to the needs of these projects to offer the most optimized solution. But there are many projects that require more than 16 outputs, like a house of worship with a frontal system, special fills, or a down mix or two for broadcast, or touring artists performing at indoor and outdoor theaters or arenas. For these projects, the ELISA Processor 2 can be upgraded with a Live 32 license, offering 32 activated outputs to be used any way you like. May these be ELISA speaker sends, special fills, or down mixes. And for larger projects, the Live 64 license authorizes 64 outputs. We easily envision a performing arts center with special fills, surround, and even overhead speakers, or a large immersive multimedia experience. But remember, all this is going to be at 96 kHz. It is no longer a choice of quality or quantity. With ELISA Processor 2, you get both. And of course, with the power of the new processor, there is a whole new category of live events that can become possible with ELISA, thanks to the Live 128 license. And no matter what license is activated, from the smallest to the largest, all the same features are active. Special fills, the most flexible room engine on the market, the binaural down mixes, snapshot engine, or desk and so much more. But really, the virtue of this license to scale concept is that the cost of the immersive audio processor now matches the size of the event. With the traditional immersive audio processor, the budget of the smallest project was penalized for not using the full capacity of the processor. And the largest projects were simply out of reach, output-wise. Now with the license to scale, the ELISA Processor 2 unlocks immersive sound for everyone, no matter how large or small the project is.
Germain, Guillaume, this is incredible. The ELISA Processor 2 is the most powerful immersive processor on the market, with the reliability that is demanded for live sound applications and the ability to scale the output count to match the needs of any project. So what's next?
So we're starting with the pilot phase of the ELISA Processor 2 right now. Multi-Grammy Award winner Bon Iver will perform with a hyperreal ELISA sound system at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles this week, and additional projects will be using the ELISA Processor 2 starting in the coming weeks.
And volume shipments of the ELISA Processor 2 will start in February of 2022. If you are looking for more information about a license to scale, check out our website, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube channels.
From everyone here at Earth, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks.
Cheers.